happen to have a puncture wound in the sole or scalping back here at the heels on the bulbs of the heel, you know, every horse owner, and in fact every farrier also, should have some kind of antiseptic spray in their kit, and it can be applied to these areas where you've got a puncture in the sole or a wound back in the heel to disinfect it immediately. If you've got a puncture wound in the sole, if it's been bleeding, the blood's coming out, and then the horse should possibly be put on a course of antibiotics to protect it as well. I've had a lot of success in using a Lintex poultice and a roll of elastoplast. And this poultice is fairly big. When you open it up, you'll see here that it's actually quite large. And you really only ever need half of this area to poultice a foot. So if we come across to the anvil, I'll show you how to separate this. If you don't have a pair of scissors, use the edge of your anvil and just simply go along here, cut it. Like that. Now we've got two halves. There's half the poultice. You can either apply this by soaking it in cold water or hot water. In the field we don't have access to hot water, so wet it in the trough, under a tap, whatever, cold. And put the poultice on diagonally like that, so that it covers the whole of the hoof, and wrap it around. Squeeze it into there, and then use the bandage. And use one whole roll of this bandage to tape it on with. The horse will need to be stable. You can't run in the paddock with this poultice on because it'll just cut it to ribbons and it'll fall off. So it either needs to be stable or put a boot on over the top of this poultice to hold it in place. And just keep wrapping it around until you run out of length. When you get to the end of it, take the end and tuck it back up underneath here, like that. So there's a nice fitted poultice, and that can be left on for 24 hours. Immediately it goes on there, the chemicals in the poultice start to warm up, and so it acts like a drawing agent and takes out any bruising that's in the sole of the foot or back in the bulbs of the heel. And you can check this in 24 hours and see if the digital pulse has subsided. If it has, you're over the hurdle. If it hasn't, then you probably need to reapply a second poultice for another 24 hours. To remove the poultice, if you don't have a pair of scissors, get your little knife in there and just cut down through the heel of the bandage. It's a good idea to do this so that when you lift the poultice off, it comes off in one complete piece, and you're able to see in the bottom of the poultice boot here if there's any pus or infection stuff has come out. Okay, so that's important that you take this off in one piece like that so that you can see what's actually happened while it's been on there. And often you'll see a great pocket of dirt or pussy stuff, and it gets very, very smelly. So you know that the poultice has worked.